What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode of Subnautica. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to build a base, and I'm sure most of you guys that actually plays this game knows already, but for those who doesn't, I'll show you some quick tips and guides I guess. So it's not very difficult, but the most important thing I would say is you need to have the scan or fragment scan of the multi-purpose room, which is actually just right outside this window. It's basically a round, well, whatever shape this is, a circular spear shape of space. So if you go into your habitat builder, yeah, that's called habitat builder, and you go to your base pieces, you'll see it right here. It's called multi-purpose room, and it does require 6 pieces of titanium to build, but this is probably, I would say, the most important. Other ones, like other spaces, for example, moon pool, that's for mechanical stuff. So you will need them eventually if you want to have a super cool base. It's not necessary. Like, you could park your vehicle somewhere else, but if you want to charge your vehicles, that's definitely a must. But just to achieve a quick base, like a very efficient base, you can have this. So it's called the multi-purpose room. If you need to find this piece, I'll have a video link in the description below. You guys can go check it out. It's super easy to find, and all you have to do is show up at Floater Island, I believe, and you guys could get the pieces. Now let's get going. So of course you can start with one room, that's all you need, but you do need to provide the room with power in order for it to create, gas. It's not gas, sorry, air and all that stuff. And for my base, I kind of have solar power, and if you guys look on top screen, sorry, trying to move the mouse, it says 1703, 1702, 1701, stuff like that. But that's how much energy I have, and that's actually more than enough for my base to sustain everything that I have. If you guys look on top, I actually have a ton of solar panels. So solar panels are another way to gather energy. So there's actually a ton of ways to gather different kind of energy, like I believe, sorry guys, give me one moment. So I think this is Bioreactor, which is another way to have energy. I think you can put in different kind of like creature eggs, even gel or something like that, that will actually allow you to gather energy. And there's of course a nuclear reactor, which I don't have it yet. I didn't need it, so I never actually went out to look for one. And then there's also solar panels, and then thermal plant. This is kind of something like if you're in the water heat, like if you're building base in the lava zone, this one will come in very like a bit, like it's very easy because all the waters are hot. For example, when I'm using my prawn suit, which have a thermal power like charging system, it allows my prawn suit to go pretty much like infinite power as long as I want. So that will be very helpful. And the other one's a solar panel, which is the one that I have right now. As you guys can see, I have a ton, but in order for solar panels to work, your base have to be pretty close to surface where the light can reach, and obviously it only charges during the day. At nighttime you won't get any energy. That's why I have so many. So the more solar panel you have, the more energy source you have. And I don't remember exactly how much each of them it gave you. I think it's maybe like 100 or 75 or something, but the more you have, the higher the number is. If you guys see, when I go back to my base, you guys probably saw earlier that I have like 1900, I think that was the total. Let me go back real quick. 1950. So 1950 is the total I have, and basically that will give me more than enough energy to charge most of my stuff. You guys could see like my prawn suit and my sea moth, oh sorry, my sea moth right there, and my prawn suit is right up there. So both of them are being charged with this. So if your base is not using energy, most of the time it's fine and you don't have to worry about it. So once you have your base established, you got to make sure you have water, food and stuff. So for me, I actually was able to find the water filtration set like machine, so you can get like bottled water to take with you to anywhere. So it also creates salt for you, which is really cool if you need one, but I don't really use most of the time. So let's go out and just like build something. Actually, before I go out, so we have the water right here, but the easiest way I would say to get water is probably grow your own plants. So these plants doesn't require any kind of sunlight. You can actually plant them here, and this is a lantern fruit, as you guys can see, and this is a bob tree. So lantern fruit is pretty good for water and food. It's more food than water, but the bob tree is actually mostly water, I would say. So that's why I planted both. So bob tree does run out once in a while, so if you slice it for like 10 times, it actually it will disappear, but you can always replant one, because every time you slash one, it gave you fruit, so you have more than enough fruit to replant over and over again. So it's like an infinite amount of food. So there are also other battery cell chargers, so if you don't have any batteries in it, it won't absorb any of the power that you use. But you remember, if you put in like an empty battery, let's say you're at 0 like right now, it will take up 100 battery power from the 1335 whatever. It looks like it's about to go daytime, or actually I'm not sure. Looks like it's lighting up again, because the energy is going back up, as you guys can see. So this is my bedroom. So in this game you can actually sleep, and when I wake up, it's probably gonna be still daytime, I hope. And I think sleeping does give you more energy in some way, but it doesn't really do much in my opinion. But I had this glass room as my bedroom, looking towards all these, you know, seaweed grass area with stalkers in this. So this is, I think, is pretty cool. So of course, like I said, you can use the habitat builder to build stuff like that, and what I use is observatory for this little room here, and there's tons and tons of stuff. Very important thing though, make sure your base is strong enough. So a lot of time, I mean, I would love to have a base, you know, use the multi-purpose room and fill it with glass, and you know, just put glass on all sides, but your base integrity is actually pretty important. So there's a reason why I have all these reinforcements all throughout my aquarium right here, which is not necessary, guys. I mean, the reinforcements are, but the aquarium is not necessary. You don't really need it. But I'm just saying, if you start seeing leaking, like water leaking into your base, you will need it. And for me personally, I do like to have a ton of material storage, and like I said, I basically just store like coral, shrooms, you know, this said green, I don't know what it was, this is green materials. Yeah, I know it doesn't make sense, but and then there's fungi. I think you can use these things for a lot of stuff. Gel sac, that's for bioreactor, which you can use. And then I basically have a ton of materials stored up in all the different kind of places, and just in case if I need to build anything. Like right now, I want to show you guys how to build like base stuff. And now let's go over there and check it out. My water filter is doing work, so I'm gonna drop some of the salt that I picked up earlier. Oh, I did not pick up any salt. So for example, if I want to build a base, so you can't like just put a multi-purpose room anywhere. I mean, most of the time you can, but sometimes it give you a red symbol, like for example somewhere was too high, but most of the time it works actually pretty well. Now if I put it right here, oh, where did it go? Sorry, my bad. If I put it right here, it's kind of slow, but you guys can see it's like kind of floating, but the leg will extend to the ground though. Well, at least oh, there it is. Wow, I thought it would, but you guys can see it actually doesn't really do much. It's just an empty space inside. You can't even go in. But now what you can do, oh, just kidding. Crap, that was scary for a second. Now you can put entrance to it almost anywhere. So this is basically like a hatch, you know, any submarine, any base will have one, but there isn't really any kind of
emergency power only. Oxygen production offline.
So there is no power. Like I said, there's absolutely nothing in here. So you do need to get power into this base. So the multi-purpose room itself does provide you with you know, a air filter, I guess, so you don't really have to worry about it. But if you do want energy, right now I don't have any copper on me. Actually, I can run back to my base real quick, just show you guys. I can grab some copper and come back and build this stuff now. And you don't have to worry about like material wastage. You can try to build it however way you like, just because you can always like deconstruct. I think this is my copper. Yep, this is my copper. I thought I had most of the things I wanted in here, but let me grab some of these. I think we're good. Now, where is that one that I just throw? There it is. So this is, now we're going back in. So right now, what I'm gonna do is just set a super simple one solar panel on top of it, and I think that should be sufficient for now. And like I said, you don't have to worry about wasting material because you can always like deconstruct it. Like all you have to do right now, as you guys can see, this whole entire place just powered up. Now if you go in, the water is like, there's air and it's 75. So as you guys can see, so this is a base. Technically speaking, you can use it as a base, and if you want, you can make glass. Oh, I don't have. You need what's the material called? Right here, quartz to make glass, which I do have in my other base, but you guys know what I mean. You can just use the actual quartz and just basically put windows if you want, or another, I mean, reinforcement if you want, which you don't need if you only have this one space. Depends on your fancy of how you're, like how big you want. You can basically stack these things one on top of each other, kind of like my aquarium. Let's say if I want another multi-purpose room right on top of this, that means I gotta take apart my solar panel real quick, which is completely fine, super simple. All you have to do is come up and you can see it says Q, which is deconstruct, and then now you just have to, it's powered down. So but as you guys can see, you can stack it on top, or actually you don't even have to stack, but if you do this, that means the two spaces is gonna merge. So I'll do that right now. I'll just show you guys, and then I'll put the solar panel back on top just so I can get air, which I mean, I don't really need it, but I'll show you guys because I still have a ton of air in my system. Now come on. Alright, there's that. So in order for you to get to your second floor, you kind of need stairs or ladders, and you just have to put in any of these, you know, look like hatches. Anyone will work. If you want to just like on the side, you can definitely put it on the side and then just climb on top. So this is second floor right here. And like I said, it does cost energy to run facilities and, or, you know, food and stuff like that, but if you don't need it, a base like this is more than enough. But gotta make sure that your base is strong enough or actually produces enough energy for you to run any of this stuff. So I'm gonna take apart all these later on, but let's go back to my base and I'll show you guys the rest. So I don't want to spoil anything for you, but these plants, if you were wondering what these plants are for, they're for something you need in the end, but after you use it, you don't really need it anymore. So like these water, like I said, I like to store a lot of stuff. Like right now I have a ton of water just sitting in my inventory. So all these are ton of waters that just kind of hang out, just because, you know, you can never have too much water in a freaking seawater planet. And then these are salt. I have a ton of salt already just because these things like freaking pump out salt like crazy. And then these are basically like fermented, no, salty, these are basically cured peepers. In my opinion, they're probably best food supply that doesn't go bad. So like food does go bad in this game, so gotta make sure to have that. And I already showed you guys the aquarium earlier. Well, not aquarium, most of it. So you don't need this. You do not need this. I just kind of want this just to be funny or have fun with it. Most of the time I grab fishes whenever I can, or their eggs. And for example, the bladderfish, everyone knows you can turn bladderfish actually into water bottles, which is kind of funny. But in case if anything goes wrong, I can always grab one. There's a ton of peepers in here, which I can make food out of. There's stalkers. Those kind of fish are just, you know, I grab them just because I don't really need them. Just cool to have it in my aquarium. There's also gas pods, you know, freaking lava lizards. Basically anywhere I go, bone shark, I kind of grab the fish that I need. And then cuttlefish, you guys all know. You guys want cuttlefish? I made a video on that. If you want it, I also put it in the description below. So all these fish are, you know, kind of just pets for look. They don't really do much. I don't actually eat them just because if I want food, I have, you know, all the plants and stuff. You could grow stuff underneath in here as well, but I don't know what you want to grow down there. It's not you need it. And that's about it, I think, for the base. So I showed you guys the water system, the food, and the bedroom, the storage, the aquarium. So now let's go up. So the reason why I have my mechanic shop, which is, I would say moon pool, sorry, is up there, is so I can basically, you know, drive in and get the machine room, the moon pool can suck it up. The same thing goes for the prawn suit. Oh, so this is just another room so I can look down into my aquarium without actually swimming. So this is the top of my aquarium, I guess. And now that there's no other room for it, this is only for the purpose of looking down. Now, so you do have the modification station right here if I need it. And then there's Bob. Bob is my prawn suit, which has fully upgraded. It took a little damage from something. I don't know what it is, but Bob is Duck, as you guys can see. So this is a vehicle upgrade console. You guys can find it as well, which is allows you to change color. I do like the black and orange kind. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like full bright color stuff, but it's fine by me. Or I tried to go all black, but it kept some of the orange accents, so I thought whatever. Now there's my sea moth, and if you guys sharp eagle eye viewers probably seen that I have power cell chargers just hanging around. I don't really use power cell chargers anymore just because I have the other kind of battery. I forgot exactly what they're called, but they're like 5 times as long. But there's my basically vehicle bay. You can get in the vehicle, and what happened is that, like I said earlier, the reason why I have a gap underneath is because they drop it, and I don't want it to drop straight onto my other part of the base, so I kept some gap, like space between them. And if you ever come in, you can just park, you can just come up here, and the machine will automatically grab your sea moth or whatever your machine is called. And now on top, most of these stuff you don't really need, like on top, especially on top here. So this is what I would say is my above the ground base or space. So this is what I would say contemplation room. You kind of just sit around. So I made this all glass all the way around so you can see out. And what happened is that you can just basically hang out in this area and just, you know, meditate, I guess. And I do, like I said, this is not necessary, not necessary. Most of the time people don't even have stuff like that, but I've seen people with crazy bases, like big bases, like 100 of these freaking stories tall, but I don't really need those. And this is kind of, I guess you can say, meeting coffee room. So I hope when they have multiplayer, I can have it. And then now this is, I guess you can say, my second bedroom. I put all the stuff that I collected right here. There's a mini model of the Aurora right there, and then there's a baseball cap, you know, and then there's a toy or whatever. All the stuff that I normally get, I just kind of threw in here. And there's tons of other stuff. This is guest bedroom, I guess you can say. I did put 2 little thing, so hopefully when the multiplayer comes in, I get some of you guys into my game, we can hang out a little. So that's about it. So it's super simple. The video itself, I mean, I'm hoping that this can teach you some of the basic stuff. You don't really need anything to, so part of the thing about this game, building your own base, is you can explore, especially with the habitat builder, is because you can basically build anything you want and take apart anything you want, and it doesn't cost, I mean, it will cost you material to build it, but you can always, like, it doesn't waste the material because you can always take it apart and all the material will be refunded to you. Now, it's up to your own imagination on what you plan to do and what you need. Obviously, you're gonna need food and water, but all the other stuff, food, water, power, and shelter. So all those are needed, and I showed you guys how I get food, water. If you guys don't have the water filtration center pieces, you can very easily use the Chinese lantern fruit to actually just fill up with your stuff. Like the Chinese lantern fruit, actually, I'm sure it does great with water and food. Let me just eat some, show you guys. Yeah, and you don't have to ever worry about the Chinese lantern fruit running out because it will just grow and grow and grow. I kind of just grew a bunch of them at first because I wasn't really, I didn't know how it would be. And as for the bob tree, let me slice one up for you. And this one is really good for water. It's 10, so you can just take a couple of these, and that's good enough for a while until you figure out how to get all this stuff. I do have some med kits, like basically fabricator, and then also of course the regular fabricator for all the use of other stuff, battery cell charger and stuff like that. So I hope this video helps some of you guys out in some way, and I'm super excited about the new DLC that they're coming out for this, and I hope that when it's arrived, I'll definitely start making new videos on it for sure, because I actually started my channel. I believe this is probably one of the first games that I play on this channel other than like StarCraft and Dynasty Warrior. But I definitely, this is, if you guys look at some of my earliest videos, I actually didn't even commentate over the original videos I made for this game. I kind of just put dub music over it. I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel. It would be a huge help. While you're at it, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys next time.